some of the challenges that I face as an actor is dealing with rejection. You know, a lot of successful actors, they never tell you that for every opportunity that they get, there was like 10,000 or 300,000 no's. So that's challenging in itself, because you have to build a level of resilience, you have to build a level of self-worth and self-acceptance, because when you get told no, or you get told you haven't got the part, sometimes these things cut deep, sometimes it hurts. And you take it personally, because when what you do matters to you, and that's who you are, you know, if you're an artist, it's gonna cut deep. So these are some of the daily obstacles that I've faced, or challenges that I face as an actor. So a typical day as an actor. So a typical day for me as an actor is I'll be doing admin work. So a lot of the times it'll be research, it'll be looking into what I need to do next, be having conversations with my agents, it'll be looking at any auditions or any jobs that's going within the industry, or just doing different research on producers, directors, projects that's out there, things that I'm interested in. So that's what kind of goes into it, and sending emails out, networking. For me as well, dealing with my social media, because I have to deal with my own social media and stuff. And just, taking care of yourself as a brand actor. It's not just about the work that you do when you're on set, or when you get a part, or you're doing a job. It's about all those other things that goes in between that, and not many people understand that a lot of it is admin work, and I would say 20 or 40, I'll say 40% talent, and the rest is just business, the business skills that goes into that craftsmanship of your talent. I think if you're building your career on just being famous, it's very fickle. No offense, but a lot of people, right, from the reality TV world, they'll be famous, but because they don't have any talent or any craftsmanship behind it, it kind of fades out. So you have to have that balance. Yeah, I can do the red carpet events, and I can do the press stuff, and I can be in the media, but that's building towards something like a long-term goal, an objective in terms of my brand and my career. I'm not doing it for the sake of doing it for clout. So the misconception is, don't be caught up in all the glitz and the glamour of someone being famous or whatever, because you don't know the personal struggles of the journey that person goes through, because sometimes it's just smoke and mirrors. Yeah, so I feel like, without giving like any specific like scenarios, but I'll give you a generic one. When you're dealing with people, you're gonna have so much different complexes. Someone's gonna not like you for some reason and all this stuff. But it's like, how do you manage to hold on to your integrity and yourself, not get caught up in the dramas and the politics that happens behind the scene. For example, like, you might not get a role. You might not get the role because it's not because of your talent or you didn't do a good job. Sometimes it could be just like a fact that someone didn't like you in the room, and all these kind of things, which kind of can be an obstacle and a challenge in itself. So you deal with all these things all the time in politics and different setbacks and challenges, and it's not easy, but you have to navigate through that. I like that question. In the in-between stages, I feel like every actor goes through in-between stages. It's, just because you might see someone in a big blockbuster movie and stuff like that, doesn't mean there's not going to be down times. I've come from a stage background, theatre has been where I've done my craft, and now I'm transitioning into film and TV. So making that transition into film and TV is not easy, because that whole, the whole industry in itself, you're gonna you know, it can be overcrowded. So you're going to get so many different, you know, obstacles in your ways and so many different challenges, so many different setbacks. But it's how are you able to break through? So I'm constantly dealing with all these kind of things. You know, there's so many things that we have to do even to get to the place that we're trying to get to. So for me, like, I had to become, you know, a writer. I had to become a bit of a producer. I had to become a presenter, you know, while pursuing my acting career. But I had to be all these different things just so that I can exist in an industry that could be overcrowded at times. I've said this, I think I've said this a couple of times. I'll say just keep going. You know, if you have a dream, I don't like to use the word dream because it's cliche. If you have a purpose or you have a destiny and or you're striving to be something, you know, don't stop no matter what. You know, that's the hardest thing. You know, it's so easy to kind of give up or turn the other way or go to another path. But if you just keep holding on to that thing, I believe that your breakthroughs are on the corner. And that's what I tell myself. You know, I might not be casted in a big TV series right now. I might not be in a major film right now. But all the things that I'm doing is leading up to that moment. So I have to, you know, be prepared to be in that moment. It's very important to know that your path is unique. You know, when you look at your thumbprint, you look at that, there's no one in the world that has that thumbprint, right? So if you keep that mindset when it comes to your career and your path into the industry or into acting, it's gonna sustain you. You know, obviously, I understand it's all a business, it's all show business. So they like to create this facade around the business and what does that person look like? How does that person sound? Oh, there's already someone that looks like they do all this stuff, and all of these things are invisible things that don't exist, but it's created to kind of keep the people that are elite or in certain situations to be in those situations that other people out from entering into the spaces. But don't allow that stuff to sway you from your purpose or your vision or where you're trying to get to. Just know that whatever you bring to the table is something that is special and unique. Yes, people can imitate or replicate it, but what you bring is what you bring. And when you hold on to that, I think that's what's going to make you be able to travel the long distance. Firstly, fear is false evidence appearing real. I've heard that saying before, and I actually believe in the concept of that. I think fear is almost an illusion. Fear is real, you know, obviously you feel those feelings of nervousness or pain or anguish or any of those things, those negative feelings. But it also can be something that could be used to aid you. It could be like a stirring part. It could be like a stimulant that can use to push you forward. So I use fear. So when I feel nervous sometimes, or I feel like, oh, I can't do this, I'll use that and I'll face that challenge head on, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And that's where I see the results, when I actually face the challenges rather than avoid it. So I say to people, don't allow fear to hold you back. If you feel like you need to do something, just do it. And you know, there's so many voices out there, but you need to listen to the positive voice, the voice that makes you feel good, that gives you self-worth and esteem. Those voices are the voices that you need to hold on and listen to and pay attention to. Interestingly, in 2022, I did a documentary for BBC Radio 4 where I explored being a black British actor. I spoke to people like Toby Bakare, I spoke to people like Amel Mean and Clint Dyer from National Theatre and other scholars, where we discuss, you know, the challenges the challenges that happens, you know, being an artist of colour, a black artist, an actor like myself, and then entering into these spaces, into the industry. So, you know, there's been times where, you know, I've got rejections, whether that's from agents or casting directors, and they've said some things, you know, where it's indicated because you are a young black guy and you're from where you're from, you shouldn't be in this space. And that's made me feel weird. there's been other times where I've experienced, different negative, feelings that people given to me and stuff like that. Or, when I haven't got parts or things, or when I've been rejected. There's so many of these things that I feel, has contributed to me feeling like that as a young black man in the industry. But I've learned to kind of just not let that sway me. I believe that whoever is in the space is meant to be in that space. Otherwise they wouldn't be in that space. So everyone serves their purpose. There's been Denzels, there's been Idris Elbas and all that stuff, but there hasn't been Ricardo P Lloyd. And Ricardo P Lloyd has a story to tell. It's just as important as a Denzel, it's just as important as a Idris Elba or any of the other big names. And I deserve to be there. And yeah, they might be there, but it doesn't mean I can't join them or I can't do the things that they do, if I'm making sense. I think we all have a part to play in society and in our industry. Thank you.